Assalamualaikum. We're here talking to Brother Talib Karriem. We interviewed him for the cover of our April issue of Joshua's Truth, and so we're expanding on some stuff that he talked about business-wise and with his photography, J. Karriem Photography. So take it away, Sister Janaya.
Okay, so right off the bat, we're gonna make you think real quick. So if you could describe yourself in 3 words.
Oh, wow. That's funny. Okay, let me answer it first. And then I have a photo thing that I do just similar to that. If I could describe myself in 3 words, I would say, I know I'm hardworking, creative, and spiritual. Those are my 3. Those are my 3. I was going to say, I have a photo thing that I do called a time capsule. So when I'm working with a client, sometimes I'll prompt them, because sometimes people are really uncomfortable. Most people are uncomfortable in front of the camera. I'm one of them. And I'll ask them, I want you to think of a time capsule that we're getting ready to place in the earth that will be unearthed 20, 30, 100 years from now. And it will be 3 pictures in that time capsule that will show someone 100 years ago of who you were. And so when you said that, it prompted that particular one. And we really get really good photos from that prompt. But all right, I'm done.
Wow, praise be to Allah. So now getting into the questions, how are you able to kind of balance your startup and your business endeavors with like your other responsibilities, like your job with MUI and maybe family, stuff like that?
Okay, hustle. That's the 1 word. So I'm adding the 4th word now, sis. but it's hustle. You only got so much time in the day, and something is either going to give or something's going to take. Of course, there's always a sacrifice somewhere, especially if you're trying to start a business. Sometimes it's family time sacrifice, which my family has been really, really great with supporting me and even working, with me, my wife and my daughter. And I work out of my home. So it still allows us to be together, but there is a difference than being together and being focused together. So I understand that difference. Being the director here in Chicago at MUI, huge responsibility. Being in the student ministry here at the headquarters, huge responsibility. But I mean, everybody has different hats that they wear. And we can stay in a box and say, well, I can only do this. That was my challenge. I'm 44 now. I'll be 45 on May 18th. And waking up one morning thinking like, man, I'm going to start a photography business. Then I had to start battling my own thinking. Oh man, you can't do that. You're the director of the school. What are people going to think? And after I got past, and excuse me, I'm going to be very authentic and frank. I don't care what other people think to a degree, because the reality is we all deal with other people's opinions. And then some have more validity because of their experience, their wisdom. So I'm not saying that you can't listen to, but to get back to your question, it really is trying to balance it, but you really can't balance it. Something's going to give, something's going to take, but in building this business, it's just late night. So I'm working throughout the day at MUI. I may get home. I start there maybe around 6:30 in the morning. And I may get home probably after 5, depending on the type of day. And then I go to work, and I go to work as long as I can stay awake. I practice the skill. I may have a client. I schedule in the evenings so it doesn't conflict with what I do at the school. I schedule on the weekends. I work all day, hustle. Like since we've been home, all I've been doing is sharpening my skills and working. Since I can't get out and shoot and get clients, it's like, what else I was just talking to my daughter. We were having some coffee and I was like, man, I got to think about what else can I do to adjust to the time frame that we have. So basically, you're going to always be trying to find balance when you're doing multiple things that are very important. All of it is valuable, but I don't want to have a regret as I get older in life and say I shoulda, coulda, woulda. And that's why I always encourage people who get to this age and be like, well, I guess you got to be a teacher forever. And I had to fight that thought. No, I don't. I can change. I can go another route. It's okay. It's just, how will I handle when people will look at you and say, what are you doing? That's the part that stops us. And when we can get past that, because it's my only life. It's nobody else's. But if I can get past the voices that stop me, I'm good to go. And that's what I've been working on. And I think that's a part of my success. And I still got the voices now. Every time I'm getting ready to take a picture or post it, I'm running through my head like, oh man, what people gonna think? And I don't know what they're gonna think until they say it. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but praise be to Allah. It's been going well. Sorry for the long answer.
No, that's perfect. And so do you think that you'll ever completely move past those voices in your head that's telling you that, oh, you know, what if I can't do this? Or what if this doesn't work? You know, just moving past it anyway. Do you think those voices will ever just go away?
I think they'll get softer as I get more confident in what I believe is a gift from Allah for a certain reason. It's deeper. I can't say until I continue to go through this journey, because people in our lives make an imprint on us. And most of us, you know, when you're getting ready to do something, and I'm not talking about the self-accusing spirit, you know, is this right? Talking about integrity, what's correct with Allah. But I'm talking about, you know, people's opinions. I mean, we all are driven and influenced by what is somebody going to think of me if I do this? Right. And to some extent, especially as a Muslim, especially as one who is a part of a nation and living up to a standard, when you say, what will Allah think of me? Now that's big. Now that's the main opinion that you want. And then those who are in line with the principle, the way of Allah that share guidance, then don't be arrogant and be like, man, I'm going to do my thing. You only live once. Then you run into a lot of problems. But I think that the more I work through it, the more confident that I am, I think the voices will get less. But it hasn't left. I just have been pushing through it. Even when it comes up, do it anyway. You know, do it anyway. I keep pushing through it. But always with integrity, not just do it anyway and it's something stupid. You know?
Right. So, like, what is your advice to others that might like also have those voices, or they might be on that linear path of life and like kind of not exploring like other options and stuff like that, and listening to other people in their heads?
Well, everybody has a voice because there's somebody in our lives that have made an impact that could be a negative kind of thing where you have self-doubt and you only are moving according to their vision of you, which I'll give you an example. I had a vision for my daughter. I mean, when she was little, I used to call her Dr. Sania, and she ain't nowhere near interested in medicine. That was my vision for her as her father, because you're going to be a doctor. I ain't taking into account of what gifts and talents that she already has that I have no clue about. I'm just watching this plant grow and I'm like, okay, which way are you going to go with this thing? And she is so far away from medicine than, you know, the earth from the sun. She's not interested in medicine. Surprisingly, she has that creative gene and creative talent that just really surfaced over the last couple of weeks since we've been in the house. And some of her work it's just crazy talented. So you're going to always have these things. You just got to learn how to manage it. And, you know, and sometimes it's mom, sometimes it's dad. And you have to always have it, because all of those things are out of their desire for you or me to be successful. It's not out of hate or any other thing. They really are operating from the voices that are in their heads. It's real. So when you really understand that, and you say, Mom, you have those heart-to-heart conversations, not out of disrespect, but when you have those moments to talk, Mom, I know this is what you want, but I really see myself doing this. Because at the end of the day, as you move on, you got to live with your decisions, you know. And we always honor and respect our parents, and don't be mean to them just because you have a difference of opinion. That's called life. But everybody's gonna fight that. You got it. Both of you all have those voices that whenever you're doing it, you get checked. You're like, I can't, no, forget it. Sometimes, though, a lot of times, it is the voice of God. It is the self-accusing spirit, so that you don't go down the wrong way. Don't dismiss that voice, because then you really messed up. But then you got your friends that they just as messed up as us. And they're trying to give you advice, and they only have one. I think I'm going to get a chain or something with a puzzle piece, because that's all people know about you. Your parents don't even know all about you, and you know I'm telling the truth. My mama don't know everything about me. She don't know all the crazy stuff I did growing up, sneaking around, doing crazy. She has no clue, you know, and I don't know anything about you two, and you all don't know anything about me. Oh, that's Brother Talib. He's at the National Center. You probably think I have dinner with the minister every week, and stop it. No, no. We only know a little about each other. I'm looking at my daughter, and I only know a little, and she's 16. There's things that she shared. There's things that she don't even know. So that's why judging people and leaning too much on individuals' personal opinions about you, they don't have all the pieces that make up your puzzle of who you are. Your background, your experiences, your trials, your triumphs, your difficulties, the things that happen to us growing up that shape us. People don't know, so they can't judge. And that's why we always say it's left to Allah, because He knows all the pieces. And that's why that's the voice you listen to. So y'all know I'm a student minister, so I talk. So just stop me. You know, I talk. But I'm passionate about it, and I hope it brings some kind of value to your audience. And as I'm listening, it's bringing value to myself. But it's just, you just got to kind of push those people's opinions aside and say, I appreciate, I know you love me. I know you love me, but you know, I'm really going to try this out. And as you all are younger, I mean, Allah willing, you have a lot of time to work with, but you gotta start today on whatever you want to do. So did I go off with a question? Sometimes that happens.
No.
If I do, then bring me right back. Yeah, so I hear all of that, Brother Talib, but the question was.
So I know you touched on this also in our cover interview, but you know, going into this time of quarantine, it really is a time where a lot of us can develop what it is that we want to do. Yep. So what kind of mindset did you take into this time of quarantine with your photography? And also, if you can also touch on the kind of mindset you have to have as an entrepreneur, you know, who wants to start and grow their own business.
Got it. So the mindset, the first question, the mindset, the honest to God truth, I didn't go in with the mindset because I didn't know that we'd be doing this. So like I told you, literally like before I got on the call, I'm having coffee with my daughter, we're talking, and I'm like, man, I got to find out another way if this thing stretches out, because my main thing is portrait photographer. That's people. What can I do to innovate, to change? What can I take? Can I take existing images and make them better? That's what I've been doing with my online challenges, is taking some really images based upon a theme. Like yesterday was all about the eye. I don't know if you followed it, yeah. But the theme of it is people are submitting photos, and I'm editing and retouching them. But some of them photos they don't have a lot of digital quality. They're taken with cell phones, so they're not like a professional camera where I'm like, man, I can work with this image. So that's a big challenge. But to be able to take that and do something better with it, that's a win. So that's a part of strategy, and I'll talk about that later. So the mindset, I didn't really come in with the mindset like, man, if we're quarantined, this is what I'm going to do. And man, it's going to be, It's like I'm looking at the news like, man, we're gonna be here for a while. We got to figure this thing out. So praise be to Allah. I've gone through some of my older photos that I haven't released, or just going back and looking at photos. Sometimes you see things that you didn't see at that time that you think may be valuable, and just building skill, studying, working on my editing and retouching, and just kind of learning, so that if we come out of this, then I'm stronger. And when I hit the ground, I'm like, boom, I got these new skills. I got this new service. I got something more of value to offer within the package of my photography business. So that's that. What was the second question again?
The second question was the mindset of an entrepreneur.
That's an interesting question, because there's a lot of different definitions of an entrepreneur. You know, if I set up a table after the mosque meeting selling cookies, not necessarily an entrepreneur. It's cute. It's cute. You do it for self. That's a good start, but it's the right mindset. Right now, I call it business, but really, it's really a side hustle, because even during this time, I'm still working my what we would call your 9 to 5, but it's more of a side hustle with the aim of becoming completely independent, and later on being able to do just that as my main focus, which is more part of entrepreneurship, because now I'm focused, and that's the bread and butter. It's no longer a side hustle. I'm not selling gym shoes on eBay and be like, I'm an entrepreneur. Well, it's entrepreneurial tendencies. That's what I have. Inclinations. And it all stems out of our teachings of doing for self. You know, doing for self. Of course, there's multiple levels to it, but trying to find a way to produce something that can bring value to people, because it's more than, I don't get paid, I'm not making a lot of money from taking pictures, you know. A lot of people may think that, which is good, because that's a part of marketing. But my first year, 80% of my work was free. You know why? Because don't nobody know me. So I can be like, yeah, I'm Jay Karriem, the photographer. They're like, yeah, good guy, wonderful. Right. It doesn't work. It's the same principle that the God had to do. He had to make himself known. And he made himself known by the work he did, which was transforming Black life, human life. So I can't say I'm a photographer and like, hey, pay $100, $200, and I have no work. It don't work that way for anybody. So that first year was branding. My whole goal that first year, I know I'm off topic. My whole goal that first year, was to, when you think of photography, I wanted you to think Jay Karriem. That's all. That's it. When you thought of photography, I wanted my logo, not that you know my face, but I wanted my brand to pop up in your mind, just in the nation. We're not even talking about outside of our circle. Just be like, man, Jay Karriem, man, he got some nice photos. That's all I wanted. And I think I achieved that to a certain degree. So I close my mouth.
Yeah. So mentioning branding, you do a lot of branding on social media. So how do you how did you get started leveraging social media for your brand, and how has that been for you?
The honest to God truth answer, because I ain't gonna make up nothing. I'm learning that right now. I was looking at Instagram this morning, like, okay, what can I do different? Instagram is very saturated. Still strong, but it's really at kind of its peak, because as you know, a lot of people are now migrating to TikTok. And in some aspects, LinkedIn has become stronger because of their platform. But of course, you got different age demographics. This depends on who your target audience is. Well, mine is birthed through whatever. So I have to utilize all of these platforms, but it's really, for me, it's the consistency of whatever you're putting out, of the content that you're putting out that is either really authentic or really relatable to people at that particular time. And it's just being consistent with it. One of the things that a lot of people say, man, brother, you are consistent with posting and putting out, you know, your photos and stuff like that. And And a lot of times I don't want to put it out. And again, this is the voice. Man, they might not like this one. And everyone that I just click and sent it out anyway, that's the one they like the most. Isn't that crazy? So my little crazy self sitting at home deciding for 7 billion people that potentially could see the picture. It makes no sense. So if I'm an artist and I do artwork and I'm at home judging my artwork like, oh man, it's not good. That's your one opinion. One opinion. And then you show it to somebody else and they're like, this is so fantastic. And so what I've learned is consistency of whatever your product is, building your skill, being authentic, and not trying to necessarily follow trends because everybody's doing the same thing. So it's a lot of noise out there. Everybody's doing the same thing. You can't break through the noise of Instagram. So it's like, so now everybody's on TikTok. What are they doing? The same thing, the same challenge, the same dances. But how do you break through that? You got to do something different. How do you do something different? You got to kill those voices that this is going to be stupid. Because that one thing, depending upon timing, depending upon who sees it, influencers, right? It could break off into something totally different just based upon your post. So, you know, that whole branding thing, I'm not an expert in none of this. I'm learning as I go along, but I know that consistency absolutely works. So if you're baking cookies on a Sunday, do it every Sunday so that when the monster meeting over, people should be thinking, I'm hungry. I want so-and-so's chocolate chip cookies. That's branding. But if you're there 1 week and then 2 months later you pop up, nobody's thinking of you. And everything right now is about awareness. And since we're at home and you're not socially interacting in the person, man, this is a prime time. Why? Everybody's on their phone. Man, you need to be running ads on Instagram and Facebook. You need to be put out content, just authentic content, not, oh man, I got to do a whole production. No, authentic content about really the behind the scenes. Have you ever, I know I'm talking, have you ever, I've been home all the time. I got to talk. Have you ever seen a movie, but then you had a chance to see the behind the scenes?
Right.
And the behind the scenes was really better than the movie? That's what you want to look at when you're putting out content. People want to see the authentic stuff. The movie is the acting made up stuff, but I want to see the real person behind the character, the joking, you know, with the other characters, the little things they do and how they got this shot or this effects that they did with this massive, oh man, they had a green screen for that? I didn't know that. All of that is interesting. So when you're doing content, the more authentic and real it is, the more people connect because it's all about connectivity. And if people can't connect with your stuff, you know, you going through, you swipe. Mm-hmm. And people's attention to your stuff is, have you ever liked something that you never even read?
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly. You just go scroll through. You, I mean, literally a second, you see a picture, like, and it could be something crazy in the comments.
You don't even know.
You don't even know. And then somebody call you, girl, why you like that thing? They were talking about the minister. You're like, oh, really? I didn't know. So, you know, it's just a matter of consistency, authenticity, trying something new in a good way, and reaching the heart of people. And you're going to win all the time. And trying to bring people up with value and stuff like that. So.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, you're very like personable. You're very down to earth, very relatable. And so do you feel like that translates into your social media? And do you feel like you can see physically like, okay, my personality has been able to get me this far within, you know, this business so far?
This is what I observed in just some of my posts is I get more likes, whatever that means, from video content than I do from photo content. Because you can't see my personality necessarily in the photo. But if I do some kind of words to people or I say something, I see the video, people tend to watch videos more and like the video more than the actual photo. So that could be a part of maybe my personality coming through. I don't know. They would have to decide, you know, based upon what they say, their comments, their like, which you don't know what that means. It's just a click of a button because I click like too. And it's very complex and you don't know what it means, but we weigh it by that based upon the numbers and the data. And so I'm thinking my personality may come through more, of course, if I'm having a dialogue or a monologue in a video, or showing behind the scenes has been a winner for me. So whenever I do a photo shoot, I always have one of my cameras going that maybe it will do a time lapse, because they see this photo and then they see, man, this dude is in his house. Because you think I'm in this big studio and, man, Jay Karriem, man, he got this. No, I'm in my living room. Literally in my living room, right where I'm sitting is where I do my photos. I move the couches, slide them into the dining room. I got my equipment, my backgrounds. I got all the stuff I need to do professional shots to the best of my ability. But I like people to know, no, man, stop making excuses. You don't need a doggone studio. I don't need one. I don't want to pay that money, because I'm not making that kind of money to pay for a studio. Why? So that people will believe that I'm really doing it. See, other people's opinions. I want to floss because I want people to think, man, he got his own studio and he got all of these people coming through. No, I'm shooting this. And if it's good, as people say they are, then you can do something good right where you are, in your room, in your living room. Produce content where you are. Everything starts small. And if you start too big, you can't manage it. And then now you got to start lying to yourself and people, because now you got to try to maintain your appearance or look with people. So hope that helps.
Yes, it does. And I kind of want to backtrack a little bit, going back to when you were talking about like the puzzle pieces. So just to give us like at least one part of the puzzle, what's a day in the life of like Talib Karriem?
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm a pretty consistent person as far as my routines. I mean, it's changed because of this whole quarantine and shelter in. So now you're trying to find a new normal. But my typical day is up early, of course, out the door, at the school, teaching, administrating, come home, put that hustle work in, right? Dinner, and basically fall asleep. You know, either working on my computer or just closing out with the news or watching something on television. But it's pretty much consistent. I get out when we work. I get out with the final call with Brother Abel and other people, you know, during the week, on the weekends. Friday and Saturday is our main day. You know, and of course, mosque on Sunday and helping out there. And it's that thing. But mostly the last year has just been really trying to build this. You know, when you're trying to build something and you're learning along the way, it just takes a lot of time. And, you know, and it takes your time away from other things when you're trying to build a business or build a new skill, or you're in an area that's new. It takes time. So I mean, nothing magical, nothing. I love Allah. I love the teachings, you know. I love my family. I love my Nation of Islam family. I'm just trying to be a good brother. I'm trying to do good things. And with the photography, I'm just trying to hopefully in some way, and it'll get better, present our image in a more positive light. Everybody else controls our image. And I'm really tired of seeing just the same image. It's an aspect of our lives based upon our condition. So it's like, but what about, how do we look when our condition improves? So, so part of what I like to do is to just present really nice images when it comes to fashion, when it comes to beauty shots. Beauty shots really focuses on the face and whatnot. And there's a science and a skill to that. And I'm learning it. And that's another crazy thing. It's like, dude, really? Why are you, what do you mean fashion? You're not supposed to do that. Okay, thank you. This is an interest of mine. I like how things come together. I like colors. I like art. I like photography. I like reading. I like the ministry. see, people only have you in a box of one puzzle piece. You got to be right here. Yeah, I do that too. But guess what? I take photography, pictures too, and I'm getting really good at it. I'm not there yet, but I'm growing. I'm getting good at what I'm doing, and I'm going to keep growing it until Allah says stop. You know, I woke up, He gave me that gift, and I know why He gave it to me. You want to know why?
We want to know why.
Inquiring minds want to know. It is because I was so imbalanced on work all the time, school, work, that it began to harden me. And it wasn't a lot of, there was work, there's duty, there's all of that stuff, but personal happiness. Nobody talks about this kind of stuff, you know? It's like your personal kind of joy. And not that I'm so grateful to be working at MUI. It's the best school on the planet. We ain't got no major issues. I mean, great. But that's a separate component to what is growing me at this stage in my life. 44 going on 45. Okay, there's some changes, there's some shifts going on, and I accept that, you know, and that's me, you know, not for somebody else to judge. That's my own growth. And I told them it's okay. It's okay. So, and it's not to negate your duty, never saying that. And providing value to our nation, always do that. That's our obligation because it gave us life. It gave your parents life, and you wouldn't be who you are if it was not for what we have gotten through the teachings and through the nation. But when you are growing as an individual in a nation, hey, I got to look and see what parts make me happy. Some people are really happy with certain aspects. Go get it. Go do it. And some people are doing things that they have no joy doing, and it doesn't bring value to themselves. It doesn't bring value to the people they work with because they're doing it because they're worried about somebody's opinion. So it's better to do it because you find joy in it. You know, you find, man, happiness in it, but you also, sometimes you will sacrifice because you know it'll bring joy and value to somebody else as well. So it's a balance of it. So in that, it's just a matter of really me personally in my journey is finding at this point in my journey what makes me happy at this moment. Because when I was 20, what made me happy then is totally different than what brings me a little bit more joy or satisfaction or a sense of accomplishment right now in the moment. And guess what? 20 years from now, it may not even be photography. Maybe it will. But guess what? It's all right. You know what I'm saying? It's okay, you know, and keep it in mind, you know, what we represent. I'm not trying to do nothing crazy, and no, I'm not doing all of that. I'm going to bring dishonor to your house, but at the same time, you want to be balanced in finding out what brings you joy. Because the minister teaches us that the thing that we, how did you say it? The thing that we
love to do,
yeah,
the thing that we're good at is usually
what we're born to do, something like that, right? And I find that more and more true every day. But you got to kind of explore those things of what you love to do. Because sometimes we think we love to do something until it gets hard. And then we're like, I'm out. I'm done. Peace. You know, so, and I've been there, you know, you start doing a certain thing. And I'm testing it even with this. It's like, okay, do I really like this? And so far, yes. So I'm in a good relationship with photography right now. We have not broken up.
So do you see yourself, backtracking a little bit to you talking about you, you know, being in your living room and taking photos there? You know, that's really a testament to the fact that you don't need 100% of something great in order to get started, or even, you know, you being a certain age to get started. So
for real.
Do you see yourself as kind of like breaking that mold of you have to be a certain age, or you have to have this, or you have to have that in order to get started, or in order to be successful, or in order to grow?
Well, I think there's hundreds of thousands of people that have broken that mold. That's proven that. People young are already doing it. I mean, you could just look at it on social media. You got a little bitty baby's got, 1 million followers. Not that that is the measure of success. It depends on how you leverage that influence, So you could start now. I always tell the students, everybody is waiting to start something. Start with what you love and see how can I use that to bring value to somebody else. Start with, and then as I say, you'll never work a day in your life because it's what you love to do. And you can get paid for it if you know how to strategize properly and meet the needs of people. So it's really being done. I'm not breaking no molds. I'm only breaking a mold for myself. Hopefully I encourage people who get to a point in their life, like 44 is young too, but where they don't feel in their mind and their spirit that this is it forever. You go to school, get a degree, and then you have to be that forever. Yeah, because you got to now pay for it because you're in debt. So you don't have no options but to work as whatever forever. And to me, that's sad. That stinks, because you have so many other things that you can do. There's so many more pieces to your puzzle. So Brother Talib, the school teacher, I've been teaching for 22 years. It's not the same as when I first started. Totally different game, totally different mindset, totally different generation. And I try to be aware of myself and what I enjoy. Some aspects of teaching I love. I mean, I really love like this, connecting with people, connecting with students, having an authentic dialogue. That don't always happen. So that's a part of what I need as a teacher. I know it's about the student, but teachers need things too to facilitate that student-teacher relationship. And we're at a point in society where you don't have a lot of that true student-teacher relationship going on. But it can be developed. It just takes time, but it all depends on if that's what you want to do. So at 22 years of teaching, I decided to kind of bend the mold. I don't know if I broke it, but bend it a little and say, I'm going to try something a little different. And what I found that the more happy that I am with this end or this piece of my puzzle, it kind of made me happier with my so-called professional life. So the minister said, your personal life and your happiness will definitely creep into your professional life. So there has to be a balance. If you're all unhappy at home and stressed out, you're taking that right to your job. Stressed out, unhappy, all of that stuff. So it's finding that balance and encouraging young people to start. You don't need a college degree. The game is totally different. The game is totally different. And now with this, what we're going through, totally different. Totally. I mean, you got to get up and do some work. Develop your skill and make yourself known. Become the best at whatever you want to do. And then put your work out there. And then let the people decide if they want to buy or purchase and things. But go to work and do it, man. Stop talking about it. Everybody want to talk. That's the thing. I didn't meet with nobody about photography. I didn't. Hey, would you like to meet with me? I have an idea about photography. You know what I did? I sat on the edge of my bed one morning, looked at my wife. I think I'm gonna start a photography business. My wife is great. She was, do your thing, And I started. I called my brother Wazir, and said, hey man, I think I'm gonna start photography. Would you come stand in? Would you model? He was like, sure. Took that first picture, never went back. I was like, yep, I knew right away I can do it. And I just started studying, practice and studying. And that's how you do it. Just go to work. Don't even talk about it. Just do it. We don't realize, in particular, our younger group, what you have in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I think part of the aspect is we don't know how to use it without being dogmatic. And the more wiser that we get, and we can do that just by studying the way of the minister and how he's able, no matter what the audience in, he is not cramming down their throats certain things. He states very clearly who he is. He's confident in it. He knows who his teacher is. He states that very clearly, but he knows how to weave in Islam if he's talking to judges, to lawyers, to police officers, to college students, to teachers. And he can do it without being dogmatic, without necessarily offending people, in the sense people are going to always be offended no matter what. Because if you say that, speak the truth, people are going to, so don't worry. But he's able to do it in a way where he wins more people. A lot of times we get in discussion to win, which makes you a loser. Just think about it. If your intent in a conversation with your friend who is not a Muslim, if your intent is just to show them how smart you are, and we got the teachings from God and we superior, are you really? See, because that puts you in a position of thinking that you're better than that person, which now you have just switched to the other side of character, which is not God. Wow. It's being other than your own self. I'll put it in the sweet language of the master. And call us, he ain't say devil, but he said, you being other than you. He said, see, look at how he did it. He was so sweet, wasn't he? You being other than your own self. Stop doing that. Stop being other. He ain't say, you being a devil. But the other side of God is that. And we know that from our teachers. So it's about winning people and knowing the right arguments and knowing what to say and knowing when to not say anything. Sometimes it's okay not to say stuff. Because at the end of the day, you'll be able to go back and talk to them and approach it a different way. Sometimes it's strategy. You know, sometimes it's timing. So sometimes I have to have conversations with people, and when I look at the timing, if they're irritated already, and I got something heavy to bring to them, you're like, well, I'm just gonna say what I want to say. Okay, and you're gonna get the results you're gonna get. Now y'all both gonna be mad. So just timing. Oh, it's not a good time. Let me come back later. You know, and it's always trying to, how do you win that person? And another big one, stop me if I'm talking too much. Another big one is perspective. Is sometimes getting out of your own shoes. And I don't do this all the time because sometimes I'm only seeing it from my vantage point, and that's just what it is. You know, but if you're able to get out of your own shoes and see how another person sees it, you're on God level now. Because now you can speak to them from where they are as opposed to where you are. Because if there's an accident at a intersection, depending upon where you're standing, you can say, well, no, that car caused it. And another person can say, well, no, that car caused it. It's perspective. And all of them may be right to an extent. But until you get above that and see the perspective, that's why Allah, the Most High, He can see it all. We only seeing it from one piece. And then we make a judgment on the one piece. The one piece. And then that's just that person forever. She ain't no good, he ain't no good. So it's these little principles that actually I'm learning through photography, which is crazy. So my Islam is on 10 because of photography. Isn't that crazy? That, to me, it's crazy. It's like I'm taking pictures, but I'm learning Islam through photography, using light, perspective. It's all there. That's what makes me love the teachings, because with that root and that base, I think I can do something different as I move forward in this journey. All right, I'm quiet.
Yes, sir. I kind of want to go back to when you were talking about student teacher wise. Like you're a teacher, but how have you like applied being a student?
I mean, it's simple. It's just a matter of when I started, I just went on YouTube. I'm just telling y'all straight up, this ain't no magic. Like, he woke up and all of a sudden he was able to do lighting. No. When I look at some of my older pictures, I'm like, oh my God, this is crap. This is terrible. And other people think it's good. Whatever, it's fine. But no, I went to YouTube, typed in, I'm telling straight up, typed in lighting, photography. Then I started seeing certain people's work that I really like. And so I followed them, looked at what content they put out. Man, that's a good tutorial. Let me try that. You know, that's it. I paid for a couple of like online courses that of some individuals that I always try to look at people who are really in the business and on a really challenging, because I know if I can meet up to that standard, I can kind of bypass the mediocre as fast as possible. So I'm trying to attach myself to strong photographers that I admire their work and their style. and they're even the way they teach it where I could understand it. Because it was even learning a new language. Photography has its own language. I didn't know about using them. You know, most of us use automatic on a camera. Ain't nobody, and most of us use cell phones. So you ain't thinking about settings and manual settings and ISO and lighting and you're not thinking about that. You just take a picture and you're trying to figure out the angle and all of that good stuff. And all of that comes down to the science of lighting. But I just studied, and I spent late nights on my computer at the table and practicing. And I mean, even so much so, I was driving my wife and my daughter crazy. Like, can y'all stand in? Can y'all stand in? I got to do a test shot. I'm working on this lighting. So I went and bought a mannequin. Y'all don't believe it. I should take you in the room and show you. No, I did. I bought a mannequin. And I was able to use that mannequin, dressed it up and everything, a little headscarf on her. and then I was able to practice my lighting with that. So there's all kind of ways, but it's just in anything, you just become a student and you study. Don't make any excuse, put the time in. The more time you put in practice, the better you become. There's no magic. There's no wishing I was better. Now, there are some that have some raw talent, but people who work harder can outdo people with talent. Because people get comfortable that you have a talent, and your talent and your gift can put you in a box, and you can actually lose if you just stay. Well, a lot of people got talents and gifts that are similar to yours. You're not the only one out of 7 billion people. What are you doing differently that sets you apart? And if you don't try new things and study new things, then you will have a talent, but you'll be in a box, and you'll be happy with your, 20,000, 1 million followers. 1 million is nothing out of 7 billion. Just not. So, and broke with 1 million followers. Oh man. But that's like the new currency. It's like followers, influence. But with your Islam, what are you influencing? What are you doing? What value are you bringing to people? The more that you bring good to people, you're going to get in return. That's why people are like, you doing this for free? You doing this for free? Yep. Because I'm working a strategy. Just yesterday, a brother, Golden Child?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wanted to get in on the challenge. And he was like, so how much, man? I said, it's free. He's like, it's free? No, I want to cash app you, whatever. I said, no, it's free. I said, man, I'm working a principle. It's free. Leave me alone. It's a principle. Why? Because I know if I do the mathematics, the amount of free that I do to put out my work, to make myself known, that somebody, and they have, hey, I want to work with you after this thing is over. That ain't free.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hey, can you edit these pictures? How much you charge? Well, if I would have started off with money first, I lose. But put out your work, bring value to people. I've helped so many people with their food products and free. And then later on, somebody saw that picture, said, who took that picture? Mm-hmm. Oh, let me connect you with brother J. Karriem. And then now from that free, now I'm really getting that money back from the number of people that have come through that free advertisement, because it's word of mouth. It's word of mouth. People trust their friends' opinions. Man, you got to check out J. Karriem's photography. Really, I should? Man, I'm looking for a photographer. That's the guy. And that's the game, So you got to put your stuff out there. And I'm not telling you to do everything for free because you can't afford it. But I'm saying that there's a principle involved in giving value to people that it comes back to you. It works. With the right intent. If you're just doing free because, man, I hope I get a whole bunch of, it don't always work that way.
And so, lastly, what would you say is your personal definition of success?
Happy. I know you wanted a long. They say you didn't talk all this time, man. And you're gonna close out with one word. I can go the spiritual route, which is true. I don't make the definition. Allah makes the definition of success, because this is His world, His universe. So we can go through that route, and we can also go through. Well, it really all comes back to that obedience to the will of Allah. When you obey, you find peace. And when you find peace, you find happiness. So it still comes back. You know, it's our understanding of it. It's the non-dogmatic approach to it. Everything that we have been given will bring us peace and happiness. But as long as we try to compare it to this world's happiness, you lose every time, because the perspective is so wrong in this world. You know, it is a perspective, but it's not God's perspective. So the more that we as Muslims, in particular young Muslims, and you see it every day, we're trying to fit into the world, and it's not working out well. It's not. You can keep trying it. You can, because we're all little scientists and we want to find out for ourselves. But if you really look in your heart and like this, I'm not happy. And partly because the world is totally opposite of your nature and who you are and your greatness and what the God has for you, and whatever the God has for you, you can't upset that. It's going to happen. You may take the long route. I mean, why take the 10, 15-year route, get beat up and all of this other stuff, and then come back to process? Born in the nation, you take 25 years to come back around to say, you know what, God? You were right ever since I started learning this in kindergarten at MUI. But I was tripping. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. It's real. But I see it every day because I'm in the school, so I see it. I see the students that just like totally reject it for whatever reason. Because guess what? I only know this little part. Mm-hmm. So what happens is we judge it. See, you've been in the, really? I only know this piece. I don't know what they've been through. So all I can do when I see them, I hug them. How you been? You need anything? Man, just encourage. That seed will be better for them than judgment, because the more I judge, they ain't never coming back. Because why? They worry about our opinion. And if I go back, then I got to hear all of that, right? And I got these looks from the brothers. I got these looks from the sisters that I don't feel welcome. So I'll stay out here with them, because at least they hug me. They not offer me life, but at least I get the sense of belonging. And that we have to change, because we're just too judgmental. I don't know what people are going through that make them make the decision. I don't know what happened in your home that made you reject this way of life. Something happened, because it's not natural. It's real. But if we are more patient, and you all can be a better help when your friends fall off, encourage them. Hey, sis, I know you may be going through something. I don't know, and I'm not judging you. All I can do is lift up the standard because sometimes we lift up the standard in a condemning way, where it really is us judging, but using the words of Allah. It's a weird thing that we sometimes do. But the point is, it's just non-judgmental, being patient, and really, really working what you believe that Allah has placed on you as your destiny and your goal in life, and being grateful for whatever you are able to do and to give, to bring value to other people, to be kind to people, to look for the underdog that needs encouragement, all of those good things, all through your business, all through your entrepreneurial aspect, and I don't know, man, this is an interesting journey, and I've never had a conversation about it, so maybe that's why I'm so talky. But no, this is the first time I don't do interviews. I don't think I've ever done an interview, ever. I've been in the nation for 21 years. I've never done an interview, because I don't, sometimes my own voice, I don't feel like I have anything to share. So, but this has been pretty cool. I've enjoyed it. Now you see a piece of a puzzle that you've never seen of me, and your viewers will too. This is me. This is me. I don't know what people see when I open up on Sunday, and people, you just have an idea. Brother Talib went to Mecca with the minister, and which was fantastic. And like one of your questions was about, that experience. I don't even know what it means. It's so big. just listen to the phrase. You go to Mecca with the messenger of God. How do you process that? I don't even know. I can't even tell you. It was the most awesome thing of my life. The whole backstory behind it, it is totally, I have to write a book. Because Allah was all in it. And even arriving there and seeing the minister and him thanking me, I'm like, what? He's thanking me. He got me there. But he's thanking me and for not giving up. Those words, maybe it rings for something coming up. Don't give up. I want to strengthen you. See, what does that mean? I don't know yet. So a lot of people have asked me that question. You know what? How old was it like? I mean, outside of those adjectives to describe the initial feeling, but what it really means is it's going to take years to unpack that. To get another name, I just got a name, Karriem, 2013, and then to get another name, and you're like, what does this mean? Because you don't speak idle words, you know. So it's a lot. But I'm grateful to you all. I love what you all are doing. I'm really honored to be on you all's show and to be a part of it. And I hope that I hope I did good, so you have a good episode. And you just see a little piece of me, of your brother. This is who I am, and that's really it.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you again for talking to us, and I guess for anyone listening, you can follow Brother Talib Karriem at jkarriem1. So,
Yep. And I have a website too. So, what is it? Oh, Jake. What is it? I'm like, what's my name again? So y'all got me confused. It's jkarriem.com. That's easy, and that's just my website where I book and my other promotional materials and stuff like that. So. And anybody interested in photography services, I'm available. If you already have existing pictures, I can take care of those too, depending on the quality. So, you know, just look me up. I'm here.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you all. May Allah bless you all. Keep doing your thing, and whatever you have in your mind to do, do it today. Don't wait.
Yes, sir.
yes.
Well.
I love y'all, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum.
So,